7 makes it less likely that Kirk has 7 touchdowns.
They can't stop us. Everybody do their job. We're to step the up. We're bringing this sucker home. Let's go get it. We're gonna.
Minneapolis, Minnesota on a frigid Super Bowl Sunday.
Minutes are all you got.
This is some impressive start, isn't it?
Going for it all into the end zone, and it is caught. Alshon Jeffrey touchdown.
For LeGarrette Blount, how sweet is this payback?
That's what I'm talking about.
Big hole left side. James White takes it to the end zone.
In a Super Bowl, that's a breathtaking call.
It's caught. Gronkowski for the touchdown.
That's what I'm talking about.
Corey Clement, yes, touchdown. To the end zone, caught, touchdown. Brady lost one for Gronkowski. Caught over the middle and into the end zone. Brady gets hit, the ball is out.
Not long ago, he was a backup quarterback. Now he is Super Bowl MVP. Doug Peterson, not long ago, he was a high school coach. Now he's a Super Bowl winning coach. The Eagles, they played up their role as underdog for the last few weeks. Now they are top dogs. The Lombardi Trophy is theirs for the first time in franchise history. They are Super Bowl champions. They take down the New England Patriots 41-33. What a show we saw here in Minneapolis. 74 total points, 1 punt in this game. As we welcome you to our NBCSN post-game show, Liam McHugh with Mike Florio and Chris Sims. I'm going to ask for a quick thought. It's tough to give a quick thought.
No, here, I'll give you a quick thought. I went to the Super Bowl and an Arena Football League game broke out. 1,151 yards. That is an all-time NFL record for any game. Total yardage. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable game. One of the best, most exciting Super Bowls I've ever witnessed. And just proof again, if you want to beat the Patriots, it's a 4-quarter football game until the clock says 0.
All right, freezing cold temperatures outside, a fireworks show inside. Let's take a look back at the highlights of Super Bowl 52 here at US Bank Stadium. So we come to this one. Tom Brady, a little love for Randy Moss, is headed to the Hall of Fame. And then it's Nick Foles warming up, cool, calm, and that was on display. It's the first quarter, and it's Nick Foles to Alshon Jeffrey.
They just came out aggressive. That's so much what I liked about the Philadelphia game plan. They were not going to be conservative. They knew what they were going against, and they attacked this Patriots defense.
At times, kicking game here was kind of a circus.
That was all over. I mean, you talk about a doink right there. I mean, we had some crazy
That's a
things
big
going
doink.
on.
That's a big fat doink.
It definitely was. I mean, there was mistakes. There was great plays. Early, I thought in the first half, as you see the big completion here where Brandon Cooks gets knocked out.
They were big plays. This was a huge injury.
A legal hit. Completely legal. He had become a runner. It wasn't a spearing type motion. Legal hit, no penalty.
Legal hit, but Cooks ruled out with a head injury. And then trick play. Oh, so close.
Is that Chris Sims?
Who would have ever thought we'd be seeing quarterbacks going out in routes as wide receivers? But it was a big play in the first half and a missed opportunity by the Patriots.
LeGarrette Blount, he won a Super Bowl with New England last year. Now with the Eagles' 21-yard rushing score, it's 15-3. But that is Tom Brady to Rex Burkhead. We've seen this play many times before.
Great screen game. Great at getting the ball out of Brady's hand quick in the first half because the Eagles' defensive line was dominant, I thought, and New England found a way to weather the storm.
That led to a field goal. Here's a turnover, but you can hardly blame Nick Foles.
Oh, that was huge right there, though. The Philadelphia Eagles had all the momentum in the game. They were controlling it, and that gave New England the chance before the half to do what Tom Brady does.
Ensuing drive. Hey, it's James White in the Super Bowl. Doing something big.
How about that?
Touchdown, yes.
So James White, 26-yard score there. And
here it is.
Late.
Here's the quarterback who can catch. Nick Foles.
Again, I mean, New England's always aggressive at the end of halves. and they switched the story on the New England Patriots. Got a touchdown, gave themselves a little cushion going into halftime.
Corey Clement to Trey Burton, and he finds Nick Foles, and it's 22-12. So go to the third quarter, Tom Brady, and he's thinking Gronk.
Oh, I was a little worried right there. As easy as that looked in the first drive, I said, uh-oh, Brady, New England, they found the formula they wanted, but here we go.
That's what is so big, the ability to answer on that next drive and
Agreed.
slam the door on what could have turned into a route.
Corey Clement had a huge day.
Then later on, it's Tom Brady, another guy who had a huge game, is Chris Hogan.
Chris Hogan went to my high school. Couldn't be prouder of him. I just had to give him a shout out there. But I kept saying, oh man, can Philadelphia really win a shootout against Tom Brady and the New England Patriots?
It's Tom Brady to Rob Gronkowski, and the Gronk spike, it's 33-32. Later on, huge play here. It's
Unbelievable play by Nick Foles, finding Ertz with pressure in his face to barely get the first down, keep the drive going, and then here we go.
touchdown or no touchdown?
I think so, because it's different than the Jesse James play in Pittsburgh. He wasn't going to the ground in the process of the catch.
Clearly become a runner, that's the rule. He clearly became a runner, and it wasn't clear and obvious that it was an error. They're finally applying the replay standard the way they're supposed to.
Big Al Riveron had a very good day, I thought. He didn't over-officiate from the replay booth.
Julie Ertz certainly agrees with that call. There was one sack in this game, and it was a big one.
Yeah.
Brandon Graham.
Wow, Brandon Graham.
No tuck rule here. No need for the tuck rule here.
You're right. The Eagles D-line, we talked about it all year, and it's just fitting for them to kind of somewhat close this game out.
So Tom Brady buying time, one last chance. We thought we would have a miracle in Minnesota, the home of Herb Brooks.
Whoa, I mean, I was holding my breath, especially when I saw Gronk. I thought, uh-oh.
A lot like Super Bowl 46.
Right.
They had a chance at the end zone, and it was closer than people realized.
Exactly right. You know, Nick Foles was awesome. Liam, I got to say this one time. This freaking Tom Brady was unbelievable today because they were the outmatched team, but Nick Foles answered him step for step and just kept making big play after big play.
Did Nick Foles do something in this game that you did not think he'd be capable of doing on the stage?
Yes. Yes. When? I didn't think he could do it. This is a guy who 2 years ago with the Rams was horrible.
Right.
Now, it's not on him. We're learning the value of coaching. In St. Louis, he was horrible. And I remember tweeting, he is horrible. The exact opposite now. Coaching and rising to the occasion,
players around you,
and having the players, and having the poise. He deserves all the credit he's getting, but it's coaching that makes the difference.
But I'm with you. I had to see it to believe it. And today he made a lot of throws sliding in the pocket, almost like a Brady, anticipating throws, and he was aggressive down the field. And that's where I give Doug Peterson a lot of credit. Like he said in the postgame, he was going to let Nick Foles be aggressive, not take that part of their offense away.
The key is get it going early with Nick Foles. If he gets going early, he finds a rhythm, he builds confidence. If you get to him early and disrupt him early and force him to make mistakes, you have a chance. The Patriots never did it.
Right. 373 yards passing, 3 TDs, 1 interception. I know, he caught a touchdown pass. Super Bowl MVP Nick Foles. Let's go down to the field level. Paul Bormeister is with Tony and Ron.
Liam, thank you very much. A lot of questions, a lot of stars to get to. Let's begin this way, Tony. How did Nick Foles beat Tom Brady at his own game?
Well, Nick Foles played great tonight, but people act like this guy just came out of nowhere. Nick Foles was in the Pro Bowl, was the most valuable player of the Pro Bowl, played great under Chip Kelly, and we saw him destroy the Minnesota defense that we thought was the best defense in football. He didn't just come out of nowhere.
Coach, this is unbelievable, and first and foremost, I'm very happy for Nick Foles. Talk about the adversity that he's faced in his career, up and down, contemplating retirement. He came out on the biggest stage in national football, and he played great.
You know, I was in Philadelphia for 3 days. He told me he was very comfortable. He loved the offense that Coach Peterson had gotten together for him. And the players, to a man, told me, Nick Foles can lead us to a Super Bowl. They had so much confidence in him. It played out tonight.
And we're watching Nick Foles walk to his victorious locker room. I'm sure when he gets there, Tony, he's going to have a lot of praise for Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson's going to give it back to him. But the variety of play calling tonight by Doug Peterson, very impressive.
I have to think Doug Peterson called Andy Reid. We were there opening night when Kansas City ripped this defense up. It was Kareem Hunt, passes to the backs, passes to the tight ends, Kelsey. We saw the same offense. We saw Ertz. We saw Corey Clement make those big plays, and it was a fantastically called game.
But what about Doug Peterson? I mean, we have to give him more credit. I mean, what he's been able to do to come in his second year as head coach and get those guys to truly believe in what he's teaching, it's just phenomenal.
Where do you think the Patriot defense was most vulnerable tonight? Because time after time, they couldn't come up with a stop.
They can't tackle. I mean, we did a segment about them being vulnerable on the edge, missing tackles, not setting the edge, just miscommunications.
And the other thing that was huge tonight, no rush. We said, how many times did we say up there, he's got all day to throw?
He's got all day, absolutely.
A lot of stars catching passes for Nick Foles and Doug Peterson, including Zach Ertz. Huge one, really, the go-ahead touchdown, the game-winning touchdown. Here he is after the game with Catherine Tappan.
Zach, congratulations. You are a Super Bowl champ, but take me through that final play. What was the call there?
Yeah, I had a slam backside. They've been doubling me anytime we were in the red zone, a lot of times on third down. And when we motioned out the back to the right, his man kind of left and there was no more double team. And Nick did a fantastic job just throwing me open like he does each and every time we're in that situation. And, man, we're world champions.
What was the wait like to finalize if that was a touchdown or not?
I mean, I don't understand how they could possibly overturn it. They would overturn that. I don't know what would happen to the city of Philadelphia. I'm just so proud of the city. They earned it, no doubt about it. We wouldn't be here without them. We love playing in Philadelphia. First Super Bowl chance, Philadelphia history, and they deserve it.
What does this moment mean to you, bringing home the first Super Bowl championship for the city of Philadelphia?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an incredible year. From the moment we stepped on the field in OTAs, we knew we had something special brewing, and we put in a lot of work. It wasn't easy this whole year. We faced a lot of adversity, but, man, our God is good always, and I can't believe we're world champions.
Zach, tell me about your quarterback, Nick Foles, and the performance he was able to put on in the last couple of games for you guys.
Yeah, he's been incredible. I mean, when Carson went down, I mean, obviously everyone was bummed. But Carson's going to be in a lot of these games for a long time. And Nick is he's the only person we wanted in that situation when Carson went down. And he's an amazing person, amazing quarterback. And this team is so resilient. I mean, we lost everyone. All-pro left tackle, Hall of Fame left tackle. Probably the same with our running back and Darren. And, man, it's been incredible this whole season.
Zach, congratulations. Thank you so much.
We the best
Thank you so much. Best in the world. Zach.
I was on the Eagles sideline to start the fourth quarter, and fellow tight end Brent Selleck yelled to Zach Ertz, "We need you." And he said, "What?" He ran up to him. He said, "We need you, man."
Well, you know what, Paul? Rodney called it out on our pregame show. He told me he was watching Zach Ertz warm up, and this was going to be a big problem for the Patriots tonight.
Now, you talk about Gronk and Kelsey being the big-name tight ends, but I'm telling you, people need to stop sleeping on this guy. He's an excellent route runner. He's got great hands. He's very shifty. This guy can absolutely play. He's one of the top 2 or 3 tight ends in the league.
But you said in the warm-ups, deep routes, inside breaking routes, and he did it over and over and over tonight.
He did it. Patrick Chung is a really good safety, but no safety can cover this guy. He's just too good.
Eagles fans enjoying themselves down here in the field, but I bet they're enjoying themselves a little bit more in the city of Philadelphia. They've been proud of the Eagles for a long time. For the very first time, they can say our Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Liam?
Yeah, Paul, I thought Zach Ertz's response to the celebration in Philadelphia was pretty genuine. He seemed just curious to see what would happen out there. But look at that, a mosh pit of humanity. Their first Super Bowl championship in franchise history. That city is going to party for a very long time.
Oh, my gosh.
Listen, it's a game with a ton of offense. You have 74 total points. You set the record for most yards in a game, be it playoffs or regular season. So let's talk about defense. On the Eagles side, who did stand out for you?
Well, I think Malcolm Jenkins played really phenomenal in the first half. He did a very good job of taking away James White in the pass game. We never really saw that get going. Then, I really did think the D-line was disrupted. I did get worried as the second half wore on, and it was just going to become this Brady passing show. And I said, oh, man, are they going to wear out a la the Atlanta Falcons like last year? But the fact that the Eagles offense could stay on the field there in the fourth quarter for a few drives, I think at least gave them some energy. And Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham in the end to close it out. They closed the pocket a number of times to make Brady uncomfortable and of course, get the win.
Yeah, Brandon Graham came up with that huge sack that led to the fumble that helped ice things for Philadelphia. Brandon Graham moments ago with Catherine Tapp.
Brandon, congratulations. Your first Super Bowl. You're celebrating here with your family, but you also had the game-winning sack on Tom Brady, the only sack of the game on him. What did you see on that play?
I knew I was getting a one-on-one with the guard, and I've been bullying him all game, and I faked like I was going to bull him, and I snatched him, and next thing you know, Tom Brady's arm was right there, and I'm just happy that, I just swiped and it connect. And, I'm just happy that was, we got off the field on that one, and, we won the game.
What was it about you guys and the defense and how stifling you were against the defending Super Bowl champs?
Hey, we knew we had to play 60 minutes. We knew it wasn't going to be easy, but we knew it was going to be worth it. And it's so much, man, I'm so happy right now to bring the trophy back to Philadelphia. And now we about to have this party on Broad Street, baby. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
Happy birthday, Emerson!
Hey, and my baby girl birthday. And then my wife's birthday tomorrow.
So it's going to be a lot of celebrating for the Graham family.
And party on Broad Street, baby.
Brandon, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, a birthday party tonight,
Lots
birthday
of cake.
party tomorrow.
Lots of cake this week.
Super Bowl party is going to last a very long time. You're listening to that interview. What stood out about Brandon Graham and the Eagles team?
When you look through the box score and you consider all the offense in this game, guys, 1 sack in the entire game, but it was when it mattered. And Chris, a point that you made all week on PFT Live, the Eagles have the numbers so they can rotate guys in and keep them fresh for the fourth quarter when they need it, and they needed it, and they didn't buckle. Everybody in this stadium was thinking, we've seen this movie before, here comes Tom Brady, and they got on him like the Giants did wire to wire in 2 Super Bowls. They got on him when they needed to. Who cares that they didn't early? They got it when they needed it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They made Brady uncomfortable in the clutch moment of the football game. And I just think it's so fitting because we talked about this Eagles D-line, the depth all year long, the way they played in the divisional round, the NFC Championship game. Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox are 2 of the best defensive linemen in all of football, and that just shows the awareness he even had on the pass rush, seeing that Brady's about to throw the football, sticking that arm out there, and really making a game-winning type play.
They've been trying to get Brandon Graham to sign an extension all year, and he's resisted. And
now it's cha-ching.
He's going to be very happy he waited.
Well, he bet on himself, and now he's going to cash in. For more on the Eagles D, let's go back down to Paul, Tony, and Rod.
Well, Liam, thinking back prior to the game and all week, the talk was if there was one perceived advantage for the Eagles, it was their pass rush. For most of the game there until that end, they were pretty silent.
Well, what happened early in the game, they were getting after Brady. They didn't sack him, but they moved him around. They made him throw quickly. And then Bill Belichick made an adjustment. Some screens to slow him down a little bit, ran the ball more, and it took that rush away in the second half. But then they adjusted. Here we're seeing things that happened in the first half. Tom did not have a lot of time.
But I tell you, Coach, the best way to rush Tom Brady is not from the outside, it's up the middle, and that's exactly what Brandon Graham, he described. And obviously the Patriots made some adjustments. They started running the ball. They threw some screens. They blew a couple coverages in the secondary, but this is a team. This is a family. They believe in one another, Coach, and they just play like it.
And then when they needed it at the end, Brandon Graham, and that's the thing about the way they play. Hey, I rushed probably 40 times tonight, and I never got there. But on that one time when I got the one-on-one and I needed it, he was still coming hard.
If there's one thing that I saw that the Eagles, they played harder than the Patriots. They wanted it more. The Patriots have experienced so many Super Bowls, and sometimes when you experience that many Super Bowls, it becomes second nature to you. But when I saw the Philadelphia Eagles play tonight, they played with extreme heart, and they wanted this game.
Chris Long, one of those guys playing that way. Here he is right after the win with Randy Moss.
All right, Chris, back-to-back Super Bowl rings, this time against the team that you won it with last year. What are the emotions right now?
Emotions are amazing. We got the most amazing team. We overcame so much. A lot of people are going to try to act like they believed in us now. I don't even think people believed in us all tonight, even when we had the lead. Like I say, God is good, man. We were so blessed. You know, we didn't do it alone. I'm so appreciative.
I know you didn't really want it to be a shootout, but how about the defense stepping up at the end when you really needed to?
Listen, all year we've won games different ways, and the offense bailed us out in the second half. And at the end of the day, listen, Tom Brady's the greatest for a reason. He was slicing us up, but eventually even he had to hold the ball a little bit and take some shots on those last 2 drives, and that's when we got to him.
Enjoy the trophy presentation.
Thank you.
All right, guys, let's jump from the front seven of that Eagles defense to the back end, Rodney. What'd you see from Malcolm Jenkins?
Malcolm Jenkins was, I told you, Coach, this guy is a difference maker. And I sit here and I saw him, and I'm looking at him like, what is going on? Like, this dude he's defending James White.
Making tackles on the running game.
And he really set the tone with the Brandon Cooks hit. That was a nice, clean hit, really set the tone, just a physical defense tonight.
He was all over the field, and we kind of thought they might put him on Gronk, but I thought Coach Schwartz did a great job of letting him roam and be a factor all over the field. He was tremendous.
Hey, Rodney and Tony, you can follow here. With Brandon Cooks out of the game, how did that change what the Patriots could do defensively?
Well,
I'm sorry, what the Eagles could do defensively.
Well, I mean, Tom had a 500 yards, so, I mean, he was very successful passing the ball down the field, but Brandon Cooks is that guy he developed a great chemistry with, taking shots down the field. And a lot of times these secondary guys, they play so far off, a lot of deep outcuts, Coach.
Yeah, and Hogan and Amendola stepped up. Gronk got going in the second half. So, yeah, they missed Brandon Cooks, but I don't think that was a big factor.
It comes down to defense when you look at the Patriots.
You said that the Patriots didn't tackle very well. So look at the other side of the other team, Tony. Defensively, as we watched the city of Philadelphia celebrate, as we knew they would if they won their first Super Bowl title, what do you think the Eagles defense did best tonight?
Well, they played some good red zone defense in the first half, forced some field goals, and then the big thing, they didn't give up. You know how discouraging it can be when Tom Brady's going down the field scoring time after time after time, and then finally, hey, we got to stop them one time, and they did. They geared
just belief in themselves, and not getting caught up in how many yards they're giving up, how many touchdowns. They fought to the very end. They made the key plays.
I think so many fans at home, and I heard Al and Chris talking in the break about what an amazing game it was. They said it so many times. As guys who made their names defensively in the NFL, were you entertained by this or just shaking your head?
I was amazed by the skill of the offense. I mean, these two quarterbacks played lights out. Receivers were making catches, and it was a game where it was a struggle on defense.
Well, it was fun to watch offensively because both teams they passed the ball to different guys, giving different guys opportunity. It wasn't just one guy making all the plays.
Tom Brady, if you would have said prior to the game he threw for over 500 yards, 3 touchdowns and no picks, we would have thought he'd be at the podium talking about a win. But here he is sharing his thoughts about a loss.
They're all pretty disappointing. I mean, losing sucks, but that's part of you. You know, you show up and you try to win, and sometimes you lose, and that's the way it goes. Yeah, Danny made a good throw. I just didn't, you know, just didn't make the play. I mean, it was there to be made, and I missed the play. Yeah, I caught it, but didn't catch it tonight. You know, I certainly hope so. So, I certainly hope so. Yeah. Yeah. But I think if you're not in the game, you don't have a chance to win. So, I mean, if you want to be world champs, you got to play in this game. So, we played 8 of them, and, you know, they were all good games. But today we had our opportunities, never really got control of the game, never really played on our terms. And, you know, just didn't make enough plays when we needed to. Yep. Yeah, we hit the first one, and then, you know, just obviously the strip sack. I mean, the guys made a good play. I mean, they got a good rush, and, you know, that's what they needed. Someone needed to make a play, and those guys made it. Yeah, we moved the ball quite a bit too. We just, you know, we did a good job in the second half. First half, you know, we had a lot of yards. We just didn't have a lot of points, and that came back to kind of bite us in the end. I mean, he's one of our best players. So, you know, anytime you lose a great player, it's tough. So frustrating to lose him. He's very disappointed, but that's football.
What's that? Bill Belichick, some handshakes as he leaves U.S. Bank Stadium. We just had to listen to his quarterback, and let's go to the other side now as we welcome in Jay Ajayi, running back for the Philadelphia Eagles, victorious, wrapped in Apollo Creed colors there.
I'm in shock right now, man. This is.
Why are you in shock? You told me you guys were going to do this.
I know, it's just the journey, everything. This team is so special to be a champion, to be the best in the world. We believed in ourselves even when the world didn't. And we knew we were all we needed, and we showed that tonight.
Love to hear more about your specific emotions, Jay. October 30th, you're a Miami Dolphin. Now early February, a Philadelphia Eagle and a Super Bowl champion. Share with us your emotions.
Whirlwind of emotions. God had a plan. I prayed for a change in my career, for success, and for positive things to happen, and God placed me on the Eagles, and here I am today as a Super Bowl champion. There are no real words to kind of describe just everything that happened this year, but you know, this is so special, and I'm so grateful to be here.
Talk about your faith, man. Coach went up there and he came back and he told me about how faithful this team is and how so many Christians on this team and what you guys believe.
It's crazy because I've never actually seen a team so faith-oriented, and it showed, especially when adversity and tough times and challenges, that faith, that brotherhood, that family that has been created through those great Christian values that we have on this team. And I'm so blessed to have been able to just share all these moments and this game with my teammates.
You know, you talk about a brotherhood too, and you guys told me that all week last week. It starts in that running back room. Most running backs want to be in there all the time and get a groove. You have three guys that are sharing the ball in and out, and there's no animosity at all.
Yeah, the room and the environment in our room created by Deuce is bar none. The competitive nature that we have in there, how we support each other, how we love one another as brothers, how we push each other, how we embrace and celebrate with each other is something special, and it's something that we'll never forget. We're brothers for life. We had a sit down before this game yesterday, and everyone got to speak their heart and speak on what they felt about this game and what they felt leading up to it. And it was special. And after that conversation that we had, it doesn't surprise me how we performed tonight, because everyone was so ready and everyone was inspiring, and everyone in our committee showcased their abilities tonight.
Yeah, Jay, your team was really ready from the start. 3 quarters, you're in control. Into the fourth, you go down 33-32. As we watch the highlights of the final drive, what was Nick Foles like in those final moments?
Calm, composed. He's a guy that's been in it before. He's a veteran, not shaken by anything, and he showed so much tonight. He even caught the football tonight. You know what I'm saying? And it shows you what kind of guy he is, the kind of character that he has, and he led us to a victory, man.
What you see in this Patriots defense that made you think that you could be successful against them?
I mean, we knew that they're a disciplined team and that they fight through all 4 quarters, but we also understood that we had matchups on this field that we could exploit tonight. And in our running back room, we understood that we definitely had a part to play in this game, and we wanted to come out here and showcase what we could do, and we did that tonight.
The one thing we talked about all week was the Patriots missing tackles defensively, blowing coverage. Did you see those type of things on film when you watched them?
Yeah, it was on film. It showed that, you know, they would leave some plays out there to be made. Obviously, they're a great red zone defense, and that's where it gets kind of stout, but in the open field, we knew that we would have some opportunities to make plays in this game, and we did that.
Jay Ajayi traded from the Dolphins to the Eagles on Halloween, dressed up, looking like a Super Bowl champion. Thanks for your time, Jay. This is outside the stadium, city of Philadelphia. celebrating just like you knew they would, the first Super Bowl title. And look at Broad Street, Philadelphia. Wow. Like a parade already.
Look at that, Zay.
Tom Brady with the loss, affection from his family. Back inside U.S. Bank Stadium right after this.
And the celebration really is just getting started in Philadelphia right now. And that is what it looks like when your franchise goes out and wins its first ever Super Bowl title. Right in the crowd, the fireworks display, the Eagles.
I think that may be a fire code
doesn't
violation.
look like that. Yeah, I was going to say, that doesn't look like that's legal.
A little dangerous, perhaps. We go to the QB comparison. Nick Foles, brilliant game, Super Bowl MVP, the 373 yards and 3 touchdowns passing. He also caught one. But Tom Brady, Super Bowl record, 505 yards passing. He had the 3 TDs, no interceptions. And how about this for New England? They become the first team ever to lose a Super Bowl in which they did not punt the football. But Nick Foles, of course, a big reason why. Now, Tom Brady, we heard from him, 40 years old. We know that he's coming back because he basically tells us to stop asking him if he's retiring. But there's so much more uncertainty, and now potentially even more uncertainty going forward for New England.
Yeah, you know, there were some vague rumblings about Rob Gronkowski, and I kind of threw a dart on Twitter during the game that I wouldn't be shocked if he retires after the game. He was asked about that after the game, and he said, I don't know how you heard that, but I'm definitely going to consider my future. This guy isn't even 30 years old yet. And I think we have to look at that concussion that he suffered against the Jaguars a couple of weeks ago. I believe he's never been hit that hard in the head before, and he struggled. Look how long it took him to get clearance to play, passing the concussion test, nearly 2 full weeks. I think that was a wake-up call for him. He has never spent any of his football money. He's lived off of his marketing dollars. He's got more money than he can ever spend. I won't be surprised if he walks away.
His body has been absolutely abused in his career to this point. He's the greatest tight end in the history of the game in my book. But when you look at it, it's back surgeries multiple times, knee injuries.
He's the operation game.
Exactly.
He's the guy in the operation game.
Mike hit it right, too. The fact that it took as long for him to clear the concussion protocol. All are very scary things. I'll be very interested to see what he does. For selfish reasons, I hope he comes back because he's a joy to watch. But I understand him considering this.
Chris made a great point. I don't know how you heard that. That tells you everything you need to know.
Right.
What's there to hear?
Yep.
If there isn't
that tells you
what
there's
the
some
amazing
truth
thing
to
is,
it.
even with all those operations, he's still unbelievably productive. 116 yards, 2 touchdowns, came up huge in this game. But it's not just him, it's also the coordinators. Defensive coordinator Matt Patricia expected to be the head coach in Detroit, and Josh McDaniels thought was he'd be leaving and taking over in Indianapolis.
Yeah, something we discussed, which seems like 3 days ago down on the field in the pregame show, Liam. The idea that Matt Patricia has made it clear to the Patriots he will be leaving for the Lions, but Josh McDaniels hadn't told the Patriots yet. And let me tell you, throughout the day, there's been this weird thing, this weird vibe, this weird sense that maybe, just maybe, McDaniel stays, and it would cut against everything that we've heard. It would cut against the notion that there are coaches who have jobs, wink, nod, lined up with the Colts. But we have to wait and we have to watch.
How do you think that would affect him going forward?
It'd be hard for him to get a head coaching job, especially during that buffer zone. If the Patriots in the playoffs, who's going to trust him? So look, he either wants to be a head coach or he doesn't. And you have to wonder, does he just decide to wait and wait and wait for Bill Belichick to step aside? If there's anything to this, but he declined to address his future when talking after the game.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's either someone's giving him an inkling that maybe Bill Belichick will leave in the next few years and he takes over, or I'll throw this out there. He's hearing that there's still concerns with Andrew Luck's shoulder, and maybe he doesn't like that and doesn't want to go down to Indianapolis. That was the 2 things that popped in my head. I'll be interested to see what he does.
And also, I think that he has concerns about working with Jim Irsay. I think he does.
It's a lot to take in, a whole lot to consider right on the heels of losing the Super Bowl. I'm curious what Tony, Rodney, and Paul have to say about it.
I think I'm going to go right to Rodney here. A lot to sort through there. Rob Gronkowski maybe considering retirement. Coordinators may or may not leave. What do you think?
Well, in 2007, when we lost the Super Bowl to the Giants, and I felt like it was my fault, I contemplated the same thing. I wanted the same thing. I was devastated. I felt like I disappointed not only my teammates, but the entire city. I just think with Rob, he needs time away. He played his heart out. And Rob Gronkowski, as much as I love him, and just like Chris Sims said his body's been through a lot. He's, a lot of injuries and things like that. I went through the same thing. But I think a month or two away, Coach, give him a time just to kind of decompress, get this out of his system, and I think he's going to reevaluate it, and I think he might have a conversation with Coach Belichick, maybe Tom Brady, maybe see how his body's feeling. And I don't think Rob Gronkowski is going to retire.
I totally agree with you. We lost to you guys several times in a row in the playoffs. And the next day, I always felt like, oh, can I do this again? But then you take a day or two away from it, and you're recharged and ready to go. And I just can't believe when Tom Brady calls him up and says, Rob, we need you. He tells Tom, no, I'm not playing.
Exactly.
Best for anyone to step away from a emotion that's great or that's poor and take a little time to figure that out, as they said. Interesting tonight for the quarterbacks. They both had a chance to haul in passes, and Tom Brady had this chance, oh so close, shy in play in the first half, a missed opportunity. And how about the courage of the Eagles and Doug Peterson to call this on 4th and goal, wide open, Nick Foles. Wow, what a call. Great execution. The Eagles are Super Bowl champs. We're back after this.
When 9 minutes and 22 seconds left, when we got the ball back, they went down and scored. We said this is our season. And we know coach is going to go for it. I mean, we aggressive. We've been doing it all year. I think we probably lead the league in 4th down conversions, right? Fly, Eagles, fly. Hey, I told y'all we was bringing this trophy back to Philly, man. I guarantee it, man. I told y'all. I'm out. Thank you.
Is that basically a sales pitch to play for Coach Peterson?
Yes, I think so. But, I mean, he makes a great point. They won, we heard Brady say, they won on their turn. The terms were on Philadelphia all day long. They controlled the game, but the Eagles, 4th down conversions, 10 for 16 on 3rd down. This is what they've done all year, and they did it when it mattered most.
And he did make the guarantee. He even said last year he's going to win the Super Bowl next year. He just thought it was going to be with the Bears.
Right.
But he's half right.
That's right. They were asking him a question. They asked, if you win the Super Bowl, and he said, no. When we win the Super Bowl. And then, well, he delivered, and so did the rest of the Eagles, and the city of Philadelphia continues to celebrate their first ever Super Bowl title. We're back here in Minneapolis. Heard from Alshon Jeffrey, who was confident before. His team gets the victory. You look at this Eagles squad, you take down a dynasty and you start to wonder, is this the next team? I know it's very early, but does it have the makings? Does it have the parts as a team that can repeat and contend for Super Bowls going forward?
Well, they got a young franchise quarterback, and they have a Super Bowl MVP backup. What do you do with a Super Bowl MVP who's your backup quarterback, who you have under contract for 1 more year? What do you do? Will somebody offer you something? Somebody who watched Nick Foles film with other teams and say, maybe he only can excel in that system? But they have the nucleus. They've got the quarterback. He'll be healthy next year in Carson Wentz. And I think this team is here to stay.
I agree. I mean, if I'm the Eagles, the play is really to try to trade Nick Foles so you don't have a quarterback controversy, which I don't think you really should. But they are here to stay. Wentz, Aguilar, Corey Clement. They got Jay Ajayi. They have young offensive linemen up front. Their defensive line with Fletcher Cox. I really think they're a team that's going to be hanging around and in the Super Bowl conversation for the next few years.
They've got the depth. They've got the talent. And they've got an aggressive head coach, Doug Peterson. Let's hear from him.
Hasn't really sunk in, but listen, I'm so excited for that locker room. For Mr. Lurie to give me the opportunity to coach this team, and then everything that we've been through this season to get to this point. A lot of people counted us out, but that locker room believed in each other, believed in me, and I got a great staff and great players, and we found a way to get it done.
Doug, that last drive, that last scoring drive, for those moments that you had, was your mindset the entire time you got into the end zone?
I knew that we were going to have to score a touchdown in that situation. A field goal wasn't going to be good enough. Not against Brady and the Patriots, and so we stayed aggressive. Nick made some outstanding throws. Guys made some plays for him. Nelson, Ertz on the touchdown. I mean, just play after play. Guys really stepped up tonight and just had to get a touchdown on that situation. It kind of felt like whoever had the ball last, could win this game, and we were just fortunate enough to put ourselves in position to really to end the game with that drive, for the touchdown, and defense stepped up and did a nice job to finish it for us, and so happy for him.
No surprise, Doug Peterson congratulating a kiss there for the win from his wife. But
well deserved.
Absolutely, and a nice hug as well. But no surprise, he was complimenting his assistant coaches, his offensive and defensive players. What's the best compliment you can give him, Tony?
Doug Peterson is a leader, and he led this team to a man. Those players in Philadelphia told me, Coach Peterson is the reason we're here. And it's funny because I interviewed him for our pregame show, and one of the questions I asked him, are you going to have to calm yourself down in the Super Bowl? You're very aggressive. He said, I am going to have to tell myself to calm down, but I promise you I'm not losing my aggressiveness. We're not going to win this game with field goals. We're going for touchdowns, and he lived up to it tonight.
The players love this guy, and the reason why they love him is because he allows them to be themselves, to have personality. They have fun. They don't have to walk around on, just with nervous and anything like that, Paul. They respect him. He's extremely prepared, and this is a really good football coach.
And he has faith in them, and that's what shows. Hey, Nick, we're going to throw the ball. You're going to do what you can do. We're not holding back. It's not like we're afraid you're going to lose the game. I'm going to put you in situations to win it. I'm going to go for it on fourth down and put the ball in your hands. And when you do that to a player, that player, he wants to go out there and perform.
Yeah, I played 15 years in the league, and I tell you, there were years where I had no fun playing football. When you look at the Philadelphia Eagles and you look at the season that they had this year, they had fun. Even when they had adversity, they came back, won football games, and continued to have fun, Paul.
And they had fun playing for this coach. We can now say this about him. Doug Peterson, one of 4 coaches to win a Super Bowl as a player.
He's in the family.
And the coach, one of the other 4.
Nice plug, Coach.
Sitting right here, joins a very good club there with Tony Dungy. So Doug Peterson, Super Bowl champions as a player and a coach.
I see you, Coach.
Yeah,
Coach
welcome
Dickens,
to the family, Doug.
Yeah. Nice little quartet of 4.
Some big names out there, too.
Nick Foles and Carson Wentz. Hey, Carson Wentz was on the sidelines interacting with, coaching Nick Foles the entire evening.
That's a great shot.
Laughing and smiling quarters 1 through 4. He was excellent with Nick Foles throughout the game. That's what a captain does when he's hurt. There's Nick Foles' kid there trying to figure out what is all this noise and this mess on the ground. Your dad's a Super Bowl champ. He doesn't care.
The party in Philadelphia, responsible celebration. Their team, Super Bowl champions. That's the scene in Philadelphia. We had some Super Bowl records here. If you were looking for a tight defensive game in this one, you're disappointed. We got the most combined yards, most passing yards combined. Tom Brady, most passing yards in a Super Bowl in the first QB with multiple 400-yard Super Bowl passing games. So he lit it up. Lots of offense. What's going to be your lasting image of this Super Bowl?
Well, I grew up at a time when the Super Bowl was a boring game. It was a sluggish game. It felt like whoever gave up the first touchdown was done. Something's happened in the last decade where we have exciting Super Bowls. We have the kind of games in the Super Bowl that if the NFL had more of those games in the regular season, the NFL is a problem. Offense sells. Excitement sells. Defense in this day and age doesn't. And this is the kind of game I'd love to see more of in the 256 regular season games.
Yeah, I think the thing that'll jump out to me is fearless quarterback play and fearless coaching on both sides of the ball. Trick plays, going for it on fourth down, quarterbacks making aggressive plays down the field in the throwing game. I think all of that. I can't say enough. I really want to say Brady's performance today was unbelievable. I know he didn't win the MVP and Foles did it, but I really think it was one of his greatest performances in Super Bowl history that I saw. But they lost, and Nick Foles and Doug Peterson really were amazing.
All right, that's the final thought from Mike and Chris. What about the final thought from Sly? Sylvester Stallone, Rocky himself.
Yo, Adrian.
Yo, Eagles. You did it.
You did it.
The greatest night in the history of my life.
They have the Lombardi Trophy. We'll wrap things up after this. That's all for us tonight in Minnesota. The Eagles win their first Super Bowl with an epic 41-33 victory over the Patriots. Now, don't forget, tomorrow morning, it's a full morning of football with Pro Football Talk Live from 7 to 9 Eastern. That is followed by the Dan Patrick Show from 9 to noon. But coming up next, it's McNeil Schifrin peak season for the whole team here at US Bank Stadium. Good night, everyone.